You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about Jiu Jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a first-degree black belt who trains at Legion's BJJ and Trap House BJJ, located in Tijuana, Mexico. Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Boehler.
What's up?
What's up, my brother?
Not much, man.
Man, first and foremost, man, I appreciate you taking the time out to do this episode with me today, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Not a problem, brother. Well, let's get the ball rolling, man. If you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Oh, my name's Scott. I'm living down here in San Diego / Tijuana. Originally from Montana. That's where I got Trap House set up. I live full-time down here, but I go back up there regularly to visit the gym and train with the guys and promote people and stuff. But it's pretty much autonomous. They don't need me too much, but it's just a bunch of my friends, so I'm kind of there just helping out when I can. I got my black belt. I first started training in Washington in 2008. I got my black belt in Arizona in 2016. Yeah, 16. And then, or 17, 2017. And then, I've been living here, San Diego, for a few years, right before COVID started. Trained all over the world, a bunch of gyms, and competed a little bit. I never won worlds or nothing, but I'm no slouch either.
So I've talked to a couple people that's been, that I guess you want to say like gym hopping. They've been like, they live in different states. They train at a lot of schools. So you being a black belt, so I mean, you've been around the corner, you've been around the block a few times. So how can you? I mean, is that you going like visit different gyms? How did that help you shape your own game?
Well, I just I got to see, I think the first thing would be just seeing the different levels of what jiu-jitsu can be. The first gym I trained at, it was kind of a newer spot. There wasn't a whole bunch of upper belts really at the time, and I got my blue belt. I, thought I was good or whatever, but you'd roll with some purple belts and stuff, and that guy's good. But then sometimes I would travel, and you get to roll with like a professional competitor, and you get to see that there was just like a whole nother level to it. And so I got to see that. I also got to figure out that like there weren't any gyms that were magical or anything. Just because you were like a color belt at such and such reputable school didn't mean that you were some type of wizard. I met a lot of tough guys at gyms you never heard of, and I met a lot of pretty average guys at super famous places. So I learned that that the gym doesn't make the athlete necessarily, but also just that like there's levels to this. There's some people that even like now as a black belt, you roll with them and they make you feel like you don't even know jiu-jitsu. So, oh, hey, before we go, I don't swear a lot, but I'm going to try not to. Is this like, does it matter?
I'll let you know, because I think it's like the first 9. I think it's like the first 9 minutes you can't, or you're not. Is to
you'll get demonetized or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll be conscious of it. I will like monitor my own speech, but I just want to know.
He said real quick before,
because I almost just swore like 4 times trying to tell that first story. So I need to know.
Gotcha. Thank you. But yeah, it's like the first 10 minutes, but it depends on the vulgarity of the words. But you should be fine.
All right. Okay.
But just to what you were saying about like the different levels of jujitsu. um I see, I got a chance to witness that, like, not every blue, purple, brown, black belt is made the same. You got like, if you get your black belt, that means you understand jujitsu enough, but at the same time, that does not, like you said, that doesn't make you like a superhero. Because I've rolled with some savage blue belts, some savage white belts, some savage brown belts and whatnot, and on the same turn, roll with someone that's an upper belt, and it's like, okay, all right, made you
Yeah,
question
yeah,
some, it made you question some things, or or like, just from people's demeanor and conversations, like, it just makes you wonder. But yeah, there's levels within the levels of this when it comes to jiu-jitsu.
for sure.
Yeah. So how often do you compete now as a black belt?
Uh, not not as much as I would like to as a black belt. The first reason is it's just like I'm broke down here in Southern California. Um, I don't have like any type of real legit career or anything. Off the mats, I'm like kind of a bum. I don't make a ton of money, and I got a wife, and we're just trying to make it down here. So I don't have a bunch of money to throw at competitions
Mm-hmm.
since they're expensive. But also, even the times I do have money and I look around, I'll check the registrations before, I drop 100 or whatever on a tournament, and I'll see that there's like 2 or 3 guys in my bracket. I
Mm-hmm.
compete at like Masters or Masters 2 for IBJJF. But I'm willing to go adult too, and like, I'll look at all those options for myself, and there's like each bracket has like a handful of guys in it for more the local or semi-regional things, and it's kind of hard to want to do that. You don't
Yeah.
get a lot of bang for your buck. I can go to open mat for free and get like 12 hard rounds with a bunch of good guys, and it's free.
Yeah.
But the big tournaments are worth it. Like Nogi Worlds, I did Nogi Worlds like last year, and that was expensive but totally worth it. It had a big bracket, everybody was good, and it was a ton of fun. So I think now I'm gonna probably try to compete like maybe 5 or 6 times a year max, and just try to focus on like the bigger tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah. That's we always talk about that when it comes to competing, especially at like the upper belt ranking, because by the time you hit purple, the list gets thin. So,
Yeah, dude.
because we get like up in Detroit, we'll get like Naga, we get uh Grappling Industries and Fuji every now and then, but not as often as the other two. But yeah, like we'll check, it's like one match, like it's the best 2 out of 3, or or somebody might get bumped up from another bracket, but just for you to be there all day just to get like 1 or 2 matches for the amount of money you spend is like, yeah, no.
Yeah, it's
I did.
not appealing. Man, I work on Saturdays too. I do Uber and Grubhub and stuff on Saturdays. So like, I got what, don't make that money, and then I pay for the tournament. And you just made a great point about how you're there all damn day. It's not like a 4-hour thing. It's like 8 hours for 6 minutes of action.
Right. Yeah, man. It's a drag, man. Especially if you're doing gi and no gi. Oh God.
I hear you,
Cause
dude.
because it's like you don't know what time you need to actually be there, because you'll say one thing, but you come to find out like 4 or 5 matches before your time ended early or it didn't happen, so your time got bumped up and now you're disqualified because you're not there.
Yep.
So I've seen some weird stuff, man. I think the weirdest thing I've seen was one guy, he was in the middle of his absolute match and got called for another match. And he got disqualified because he wasn't there.
Did he hear it? Like, was he on the mats and then he like heard his name, or?
Yeah, he was in the middle of the match talking to the ref like, "Hey, they calling me over there. Like, let them know I'm over here." But
Yeah, they don't care. Like, they already got that guy's money, right? They're just like, sorry, dude, you're
right.
DQ'd. See you next year.
That's wild, man. That is so wild. We like I don't even know what to think about it because like I love the aspect of competing, but unless like you said, unless you're doing something like worlds or something of that high caliber, you kind of have to pick and choose what you do because you want to get your money's worth, you want to get your time's worth. So like I'd rather go to a gym and maybe have to pay a $25 drop-in fee, or they just you might just be able to go just for the love of it and roll like you said with 12 guys and be happy.
Yep.
You
For
gotta
sure.
waste 9 hours.
Absolutely,
You
man.
gotta waste like 9 hours where you don't want to be. So
Yeah, sucks.
it does. It definitely does.
You say you're in Detroit is where you are. Is there a IBJJF like a Detroit Open? Do they have that?
No, no, I don't think so.
That's weird. I mean, I don't know. It's like 300,000 or something, or 800,000 living there, right? The size of Detroit.
Yeah.
Well, they got one in Boise, Idaho. So, I mean, I don't know why not Detroit, but
yeah, it's surprising. Like I say, like we get Fuji every now and then. I've seen, there's another is it American Grappling Industries?
AGF, yeah.
Yeah, that one comes sporadically, but it's mainly like we'll get Naga and Grappling Industries maybe like three times a year each, give or take, or something like that. But we have like Ohio right next door to us, so that's not too bad of a drive. So.
Yeah, at least you're close to some bigger cities. You can go to Chicago or something, or Minneapolis or whatever.
That's true, man. That's true. But that's another thing you have to think about. Traveling. Do I really want to travel, 4 or 5 hours for one match? I'm not getting paid for this.
Yeah.
This is
hell no. Yeah, I'm with you, man. It sucks in Montana. Like my friends up there, like there's no tournaments. We just in the last like 2 or 3 years started getting a Grappling Industries and an AGF, like one of each, I think, per year. And then the closest thing is like Boise, 8 hours, Seattle's 8 hours, Denver's 10 to 12. It's like just a wasteland up there as far as having access to tournaments. Sucks. But.
Yeah, it's like even looking for like local in-house tournaments is kind of like rare.
Well, that's the real solution, honestly, is like gyms starting to run their own in-house events. It'd be a great way to cut cost and cut time expended and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. We get we have another event here. Grapple at the Temple is one that's starting to pick up here.
Nice.
And there's one more. I can't think of the
Midwest
name of it off the
Finishers?
top of my head.
No.
Nope, it's not them. No, it's not them. I haven't heard that name before.
Okay.
I'm looking right at the name escapes me, but I know before. I'm gonna try to remember before the end of this episode. But yeah, it's not too many as you would think in such a busy city like Detroit.
Yeah.
So, and with the schools are popping up every week or so, it seems like we just got a 10th planet here. Well, there's a couple that I didn't even know, but yeah, like 10th planets are starting to pop up close by here now.
Yeah, they're everywhere, man.
Man, everywhere.
Is it 10th Planet Detroit? I know there was one in like Saginaw.
I believe there's one in Saginaw, but there's it's 10th Planet Royal Oak.
Okay, that's like a Detroit suburb.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes away from me or something of the sort. Not too far.
Yeah. What gym do you train at?
I train at H2O Martial Arts.
Nice.
We're a very small school. Like it's like maybe like 10 of us or so on a good day. Yeah, man. I like it though. I like the small class, a little bit more intimate. You get to get more detail with like techniques, but I also do like the pace of a larger class.
Yeah.
Because man, I started cross training at one of a friend of mine's school, and some of their competition drills, man, like I'm not used to it. So it's just like go, 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 go for like a whole 90 minutes. I'm like, dude, like y'all do in 90 minutes would probably take us like a week to do in class. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's nice to have a lot of bodies. You know, you can get a lot done with a lot of people on the mats.
True. I that's why I'm starting to like the aspect of a large school, because even though you roll with these people every day, which you have in a large number, you still have room to kind of like play around with your game, or just like really develop, versus a smaller class where you're rolling with the same 2-3 people every single day. You kind of feel a little stagnant.
Yeah, you get way too familiar with them.
Right. And I'm starting to see that now. So I was like, yeah, man, I gotta find ways to like bump it up, like my training. I'm already busy as is, but like, yeah, 2 more days of jujitsu won't hurt.
Hell yeah.
That's what I keep telling myself, but my wallet's like, yeah, nah, sit down somewhere.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It can get expensive, man. It can get expensive, but hey, it's the sacrifices that we are willing to make for the things that we love.
Hell yeah.
So, and I wouldn't change that for the world, man.
No way.
Nah, no way, no how. Oh man. What was I about to ask? So you being a first degree black belt, you've been training for a long time, man. What kind of like some of the changes have you seen in jiu-jitsu that really like surprised you?
That surprised me. I remember back in like my earlier days, at least where I was training at, that leg locks didn't like, nobody believed in them really. There, it wasn't like we didn't know they existed. They were like, yeah, you can do it, but I remember them being described as low percentage. They're like, yeah, you can like, if you're desperate, you can try a leg lock, but it was like recommended as like more of a, not a desperation move, but just not something to build a game around. So that's definitely changed a lot. And wrestling seems to have really like gained a foothold in grappling. People are seeing that wrestling is super valuable, but that's also because no-gi has gotten pretty big.
Yeah.
A lot of people act like no-gi is only a few years old, but I mean, ever since I started in 2008, and it was always no-gi like 2 or 3 days a week, and a bunch of people preferred that over the gi. So, that's always been a part of my training. But I guess not much of it's been super surprising or anything. I thought that like the Midwest of the US would kind of blow up more because they have a strong wrestling culture, and because like the cost of living is low, and it seems like a good place to be a jiu-jitsu athlete. So I thought maybe by now there would be like, not to say there's not, but just that there'd be a lot more like representation from the Midwest. It just seems to be still pretty heavily focused on the coast, New York and Southern California, and now Boston, but it's coming for sure.
Yeah, slowly but surely, man. Slowly but surely. But I remember having conversations with other black belts that talk about that, like how leg lock was so frowned upon back then. It was like, jiu-jitsu is supposed to be from the waist up. If you attack the legs, that's it's looked at as dirty. Like I look at people who do wrist locks, but but yeah, man. But it is cool to see that it has evolved into something bigger than what I would have ever projected to be. Like you said, especially with the no-gi combat, with combat jiu-jitsu now is the thing that's buzzing, and just starting to see jiu-jitsu come, like, kind of like being pushed to the front, man. And it's been pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it's blown up. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this will be in like in another, 5-10 years.
Do you think it'll be like in 5 or 10 years? Do you think it'll be a lot bigger than it is now? Do you think like twice as big as it is now?
I think it will be, because I think with, you starting to see like a surge of people of all cultures, even celebrities are starting to like fall into this sport. And then you look up and you think like, oh wow, this person been training for 10 years under the radar, and no one never noticed. But yeah, I think it's probably be something we would probably see in mainstream sports, kind of like push towards like how UFC is, because one is doing a phenomenal job with their their jujitsu. So it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, I hope it gets
So,
bigger. That's for sure.
right, because because I'm always happy to see that people love a sport as much as I do.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. So so what else has been going on with you in your jujitsu journey, man?
Well, I don't know. I'm getting older, but I'm still not gonna do steroids. I'm trying not to do that. I see a lot of people now talk about it more and more openly, like that once you hit like a certain age, it's just time to do it. It's
Mm-hmm.
like just acknowledge, and it's interesting now seeing a lot of more of the athletes being like a lot more honest about it. They're just like, yeah, everybody, like a lot of the highest level people are juicing to some extent, and even the younger athletes. But I guess you feel however you want to feel about that. I guess it's technically illegal for the most part, but you could also say because it's becoming more widespread that people are doing it a little more responsibly. Like now
Mm-hmm.
you can go to all those or like aging clinics or whatever they call them. I know Craig talks about it on his podcast all the time, but you can like now you can get steroids from the doctor like a lot more easily, like HGH or test or whatever. And that, again, like it's not really my thing, but at least people are being safer about it. They're not blowing their hearts up. So that's kind of a
Yeah.
sort of a positive, I guess.
He said sort of kind of positive, a positive, yeah. But that's still weird to me, man. Like, when you heard like people are popping for enhancements and stuff like that, but it's like, is it really that serious? But I guess when you put so much time and heart to something, man, you don't want to feel like you're backsliding because you're aging. You don't want to feel like you
Yeah.
still want to keep that reputation. So I guess I understand it, but I don't know.
You just got to be honest. Like, I think you definitely, at the very least, however you feel about it, you can't lie to people and say that you're not when you are. I think
Right.
that's not up for debate, really. But as like I said, I'm competing at the higher age groups now, and like some of these dudes are super juiced, and it's like this is just their hobby. It's like I know you just train like a few times a week, and you're like not even a black belt or whatever, but these dudes are like just juiced to the gills, and that seems a little bit corny. Like they're getting a little bit too serious about it at that point, and then their technique like kind of sucks. Usually, like the more they rely on PEDs, like the less confident they are in their technique, or the more their technique actually isn't that good.
Right.
There's a bunch of killers like in the masters divisions now, and like I don't think they're really using that much, like Formiga or I don't know. You can list a bunch of like the older like OG black belts. Like, hey, a lot of those dudes probably aren't on the sauce. Don't really need to be because they just have really, really good jujitsu.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to be the difference maker for them.
Right.
And even if you do the steroids, like even if I like did a bunch of juice, like that's not gonna make me beat Formiga. It's not happening. So
Yeah, nah. That's not gonna help at all.
no.
I mean, but yeah, it's true, man. Just got to be honest, because I feel like regardless of how you look at it, if it comes out that if it comes out that you are using these substances, like your reputation is going to be shit anyway. Especially if you get caught, then you stop doing it, and then you have another match and you just get washed. Then it's like, okay, are you really ready to risk that? Are you really ready to risk that type of tarnish on your legacy?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if you go off it and then you suck, or that's a bad look for sure. But a lot of these dudes, like I noticed, Cyborg, like since he got suspended from IBJJF, now he's like just doing other promotions, and he's just on like more steroids than ever. Like he's even bigger than he's ever been. He's like just growing, and he's like 40 or something. But Mika, I also noticed too that Mika Galvo, the 19 or 20-year-old kid, like if I am seeing it right, he's like back in IBJJF already, and he was supposed to be suspended for like a year or two, but he's like down in Brazil doing a bunch of IBJJF events. So I don't really know if it was like a retroactive suspension or something, and it wasn't that long, but he's already like.
Yeah, I know he was suspended, but I didn't know he was back competing.
I seen it on Instagram. I think they're current. Like I think it's not like old footage or anything, but I don't know. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I would consider myself a hobbyist. I'm not the type of person to feel like I have to be the best in this and take on the whole entire world. I do this sport because I love it. I like to teach and everything. But yeah, those people who take it to those extremes just to be at local tournaments, just to say you washed some people, is like, come on, dude. Is it really that necessary?
Yeah, those guys always have a certain kind of personality too. Like there's nobody that's like chill and humble and cool that does a bunch of steroids. It's always like some guy that's got other problems. It's all sauced out.
Yeah, because I've never ran into someone at a tournament or talked to someone regarding jiu-jitsu that made me think like, man, this dude's a dick. Well, yeah, this dude is a grade A douchebag. Like he probably juices or he probably do whatever. Everyone has been that, even high level competitors, just like, yeah, no, I just train a lot. I just train every single day, and it shows. Versus, like you said, those people that kind of almost turn back into white belts, if you really want to think about it. Like they're very, very, they buck wild. They're, just like a bull in a china shop and just muscling and strength and everything. Like, man, like you went into a black belt to act like a white belt.
Yeah, totally. Definitely.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen those type of matches, man. Like when you see like some high level competitors, it's very, very smooth. It's very methodical and slow. But when you get the muscles and these high level competitors, it's wild. It's scrappy. It's like two rabid dogs trying to bite each other's heads off.
Yeah, so they have all the muscle and they're like, well, I should probably use it. Like I'm really strong. I should try to overpower this guy or something. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so unnecessary, man. So unnecessary. Oh, everything okay?
Yeah, I'm just watching people walking behind my car. I'm in my car. I mean, I know you can tell, but it's like my studio or whatever. I'm just watching people.
Because a little earlier, I thought I heard a car accident. I was like, oh, snap.
You probably did, man. I don't know. Somebody probably crashed. There was, right before we got on the podcast, there was a dude in the parking lot just like revving his Harley, and I was worried that I was going to have to like move because he was doing it for like 5 minutes and he wouldn't stop. But he left like right before we got on the call. He finally took off. So hopefully somebody like that doesn't come back. I'm sorry if they do.
I know. Oh no, it's fine, man. It's not gonna hurt much.
Okay.
But so I know you said you were married earlier. So does she train as well?
Not, I mean, kind of. All right. So we met at a jiu-jitsu school. I was working at Legion. This is right before COVID. I've been in town for a few months, and I was the janitor at the gym, so I was there at night cleaning. And she came pounding on the glass door. She just wanted some information. She was like thinking about signing up to train. So I took her information down, and I kept her phone number. And
smooth.
Well, hey, she messaged me first, okay? But I told her, I was scheming on you from the start. But so we met like through jiu-jitsu, and she was gonna train, and who knows how that would affect the relationship, because I was like an instructor there too. And you can't like, make passes at students and stuff. Like that's really not acceptable. So she would have signed up. I couldn't have like pursued her, but it was like a blessing in disguise that COVID happened and the gym just stopped. And we, the rest is history. We ended up getting married and stuff after that.
Sweet.
But she loves training. She loves MMA. She watches like all the fights. And, at some point, when we get a little more time, she definitely wants to train. We bought her a gi, hasn't worn it yet, but we're just like, we're swamped, but she'll get in there eventually. I got to get her training.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. Cause I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and there was a guy on there. There was like this little podcast, and he was talking about why you shouldn't date no one in the gym, and that was like kind of one of the reasons. And I'm like, yeah, because you kind of have to think of this as a like your job, so to speak. Like you're not supposed to date your coworkers or anything like that, because once you guys break up, then
somebody has to go.
Somebody has to go. And y'all y'all both being established at this place, like, yeah, I couldn't. No, how would that work?
It's hard because there's always a chance too that people could date at the gym, and then if they split up, like it's amicable, and they still both stay at the gym, and it's not really a problem for anybody. That's always a possibility. But also we can't deny like how many relationships start at work or at the gym or whatever, and you can make whatever rules you want against it, but it's gonna happen. Like there's no
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, so maybe to some extent, like you have to just place like parameters around it rather than try to just ban it outright,
Right.
But I don't know. I've never seen too many issues with that in my life. Definitely seen a lot of people like date at the gym and stuff. I've seen people meet and get married. I've seen people start families and stuff because they met each other at a gym.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen it go really bad, or at least not that I was aware of. Seen like a nasty breakup where like it spilled over into the. Wait, okay. I just thought of one time, but one time in like 15 years where it was ever an issue, So.
Right. That's still good odds. Yeah. That's still good odds, because one of my training partners, he met his wife on the mats. They got married. They have a beautiful little daughter now. So yeah, like you said, you can try to prevent it all you want to, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing, which of course is like a topic that's like just over discussed, is like you can't be predatory at the gym. You can't be like an instructor and like abusing that station of power. That's like the thing I think that isn't cool. But if a couple like white belts or blue belts date each other, I don't think you can like forbid that. That's weird. But.
Right, you got the instructor dating a new white belt. Then we gotta draw some red flags around here.
We had this program at Legion. They do like a beginner's course. It's like 6 weeks or something. And a couple years ago, this boyfriend and girlfriend, they were already a couple, when they would show up together to the gym, and they took the beginner's course together. And the guy, he was like I don't know, he wasn't super athletic or anything, but for some reason his girlfriend was like naturally really good at jiu-jitsu. And they weren't like too far off in size. You know, it was maybe like 20 or 25 pounds between them. And the girl like was legit better than her boyfriend. Like she could smoke him in a match, like head up. And that was kind of weird. And I always wondered what happened to him. Like I haven't seen him since COVID, but I always just wondered, like, what if she was just beating his ass on the mats and was like, I can't see this guy, you know, or if he quit because like, what if he was embarrassed, you know? Like I just wonder how it affected their dynamic if they're still together, you know.
The realm of possibilities.
Yeah, she was good. Like she was just one of those people that was like, you just show her a move and she could do it perfect. And he was like a little bit bad, you know, like I don't think came from an athletic background. And she was like, she would kick his ass too. She wasn't like nice. Like she would like jump on his back and like just like choke him hard and stuff. Like she would go all out on him. And I felt super bad for him. But oh well.
Yeah, I've seen that sort of kind of happen too. We had a married couple that joined jiu-jitsu. I think it was one of those moments like where he wanted to join and she just kind of like did it as support. And you know, she would come to class and she would just kind of like watch for a minute and she eventually ended up joining. And yeah, just like that, she just started to take off. She started, she started getting the basics down. And then she's like, I remember one day she's like, yeah, I think I want to try to roll. And it's like, okay. And she got out there and she tried it. But yeah, it's like he had the love for it. She kind of was like, eh. And then she got a taste of life. I think she got addicted, but then he started to like fall off. So they had to stop coming. But it's weird that happens that way.
Yeah. Every relationship's different, you know.
Right. Because even my wife trains. We were, married prior to me started training, but it's just like now, she's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, rolling. And I'm kind of like noticing myself. I have to like pick it up a little bit now. I can't just be, just lazily doing stuff. I'm like, oh, she's actually trying. Okay, let me stop playing now.
Yeah, put the pressure on, man. Just like crossface hard and
yeah.
Like, my wife fights dirty. Like when we like train a little bit, she's like just does all the cheapest stuff, like intuitively. Like just she's all elbows and like just like crazy aggression. She's like very like mean, like bloodthirsty when she rolls. So
same thing, digging into the ribs, elbow into the ribs, to the side of the face,
And you're trying to take it easy, like you're trying to be cool, and they're just like pulling all the bogus.
Yeah, because we were rolling. I forgot what day it was, but we were like, just playing around, and she's in my guard, and she's trying to pass guard, but I'm like talking to someone else, and next thing you know, I just feel her like just start to grind her elbow across, down my thigh to my knee, and hit a cutter pass, and I was just like, oh, okay, so this is how we're gonna play now. And so it's like, okay, so I know not to go easy on you now, but
yeah,
it's funny, man, but it's cool. But it's also amazing too. Like I love to see women in jiu-jitsu because it seems like they may have like the hardest startup time, but when they catch on, man, they just take off. They excel so damn quickly.
I think they're just not to overgeneralize, but I think a lot of women are like better at learning, especially physical stuff. They don't have like maybe as much ego to get over. Like they're not super concerned with like getting tapped or like not looking tough on the mats. They seem to have like a little bit better disposition to be like a new student in jiu-jitsu. They're just like, well, I don't know, like teach me. And they're a lot more, I think, malleable in not every case, but in most cases. They're like good students.
Yeah, I definitely see it in kids class for sure. Little girls, man, if I could have a class full of little girls, dude,
Well, they're stronger too. Like an 8-year-old girl will like beat up at most 8-year-old boys, you know.
Oh
It's just how
yeah.
it is.
Dude, I remember the last grappling industry tournament that I was at. Obviously, I was there early watching the kids match, and this one kid, I think he had like 8 or 9. He's wrestling with he's going with this other kid. He hits his throw and he's doing all this stuff, and he gets up a little bit cocky. So I was like, okay, he's gonna be a problem. His next match, he goes up against a girl. And when I tell you, she destroyed him so quickly. And it is like you saw the fear come off his eyes because he was on this high. He had this, this nice little takedown, nice little submission. So he's, next he's going to get the girl. So he was kind of like, whatever. But she got a hold of him and went to work. And I sit there like, how like when something happens, you look around and see if anybody's watching you. So like, that's what happened. And I'm just looking at him like, it happened. That's real life right there, sir. That's real life right there.
That's gonna stay with him forever.
It's best that he got it out early. Early in his life. Because it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. I promise.
For sure.
Man. All right, Scott, man. So we have a staple here at Talk Your Jits podcast, man. We ask everybody that comes on the show, your top 3 people, man, past or present, who would you love to get a chance to roll with?
You got to say Prime Hickson, like number 1. Probably everybody says that. Like, you just got to know if the 400-0 is real. Man, I think I'm gonna pick Gordon Ryan. You got to know what that would feel like. I know he's super strong and stuff, but I also think he's got like amazing technique. So probably want to roll with Gordon. There's so many people to choose from. But I already trained with a lot of like really famous people, so I I had all those ass kickings. I think trying to think of somebody. Mikey Musumeci would be kind of cool. It'd be cool to feel his game.
Yes.
Maybe Fionn Davies would be cool because she's maybe like the best pound for pound female right now. Okay, third one, I'll take that Helena Jiu Jitsu girl, the Helena Krivar from Gordon's. So I'll go to Roca and train with her and Gordon on the same day. She'll heel hook me. I guarantee she'll catch me in a heel hook at least once. There's no way I can be as good at legs as her, but that would be a really interesting role to her. So I'll take Hickson, Gordon, Helen Krivar. That'd be my top.
You're the first person to mention her.
She's so good.
She is a monster. A monster.
She has to. People saying it, but now it's like it's only from here on out. It's only like she's only fighting black belt world champs. I think from now on. Like
right, because she's what is she belt now? Yeah, she's a blue belt. Yeah,
blue or purple, which whatever that means. Like whatever that's supposed to be. It's just an indicator of age, I guess. But yeah, man. There's no brown belt in the world that can hang with her.
No,
that's not even on the table. So it'll be interesting to see what her career.
Go ahead. Yeah, for sure. Because I don't even know how I stumbled across her page, and I'm watching some of her matches, and I'm like, dude, she can't be real. Like, she cannot be real. And then I think earlier this year, that's when she moved, so she started training with Gordon and Danaher and all them. I was saying, oh, okay. Just take a cup of gasoline and add fire to it. Okay, I see what you guys doing. And
I don't remember where she was at before that. I don't remember what state she was living in. I don't know if she's from Texas, but she's probably on track to be the best ever in like a few years. She's gonna be the next Gordon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
She's in the right hands. She's definitely under the right people, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what she does.
Yeah, very very excited to see her career flourish. But Scott, man, unless you got any other questions for me, man, I would love to, for you to shout out your school, shout out anyone that anybody in particular. If you got anything coming up for you, man, the floor is all yours.
Man, I had a bunch of tournaments planned, but had a rough go. I lost all my money, so it's gonna be a little while before I compete. I'm gonna do a cash bracket here in September in San Diego. Hoping for Nogi Worlds. For shout outs, shout out Trap House, our gym up in Montana. We're like a co-op, and I think we're onto something really good up there. We only charge $50 a month, and it's been that way, from the start. That's the whole point of the gym is just to have like good, cheap training. It's like a little special business model we came up with. We got several black belts now, several upper belts. We got the most in that town up in Montana. We got the most upper belts, the most black belts. We just moved for the second time in 3 years, so we're constantly growing.
That's amazing.
We're constantly gaining members. Yeah, now we have a facility that rivals anybody else in town, and we're a third of the price of the next least expensive gym. Everybody's above 150 or 160 now. We're trying to keep it at 50 because we believe in that. I think that if we really want to see jiu-jitsu grow, we got to see the price come down. There's a lot of people all over the U.S. that can't afford to train as adults, but more importantly, like they can't afford to put their kids in jiu-jitsu. It's super expensive, and it doesn't need to be, and we're kind of trying to prove that, so shout out Trap House on Instagram. It's Trap House BJJ or Trap House Jiu-Jitsu. Look it up. So
yeah, definitely, man. But I would, I would love to, have you back on at a future date, man, to get an update on what's going on with you, man. And, like you said, I love that motto because trying to, pay for your tuition, if you got kids, you're trying to pay for their tuition. And like you said, it can get very, very expensive. So I don't think I've ever heard someone say that their school is only $50 a month, which is
it's doable. Everybody said we couldn't do it. Like we all set out, kind of announced our intention, and tons and tons of people on Reddit and locally, just said like, man, like you're not going to make it. That's a stupid idea. And here we are, like 3 years later. We just had our 3-year anniversary in the first part of August, and it just keeps getting bigger. We have the best schedule, best coaches. So hopefully I want to try to do something like that in San Diego eventually. Real estate's a little more expensive, but I think we can do something similar down here. Maybe not $50, but definitely like 75 or something. It can be done. So
yeah, it can definitely be done. And Trap House is the proof of that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man, coming on. And if you like whatever you got going on with you, man, in the future, man, please let me know. Like I said, I would love to have you back on and talk to you about it, and hope everything works out with you. If we ever decide to open up a new spot.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm getting kind of close. Starting a garage team now, but thanks. I really appreciate you having me on. Hit me up on Reddit. That was cool that you just reached out to anybody. It seems like on Jiu-Jitsu podcasts, you just hear the same people over and over again. So I think it's really cool that you are out there looking for some voices that don't get heard. Like there's so many super, super interesting people doing jiu-jitsu, that have crazy backstories and all kinds of expertise and stuff. So I think you should keep doing it, man. Like you should be the podcast that has on like, unique guests. I think it's really cool. So I appreciate that.
Man, I appreciate it, man. That's my goal, man. That's always been the goal. That's, I say that to anybody that asks. I love talking to people that does jiu-jitsu, the average Joe that does jiu-jitsu. Because like you said, you hear the same 5 people on, on these bigger platforms, but, just being able to give smaller people like us a voice and let our stories be told. I want to be that. So I appreciate
Hell
it,
yeah,
man.
man. All right, well, I'm down anytime, you know. So if you ever want to do it again, just let me know.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I will. I definitely will let you know. And that's the end of today's episode. I would love to thank Scott one more time for coming on the show and blessing us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels to stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.